What do we want? Freedom! We want Clive and Bundy. What do we want? Clive and Bundy! We want him now! What do we want? Clive and Bundy! We want him now! What do we want? Clive and Bundy! Without the other hand. Without the other hand. Clive and Bundy!
While we wait, how many of you guys understand the gold view national monument? Not one knows or understands it.
What is this, baby?
How many of you guys have heard the glory of the Bible when their husband finds them in that house? The gold view national monument. Not one of them. Tyson, Harry, Reid, and Roland Reid. Not one of them. That's your media right there. That's the national media. You won't get, but We Got News will give you that. We Got News will put the connection of the money.
Absolutely.
The real news.
Real news! Real news! Read out news! Read out news if you want the truth.
Absolutely.
Revolution Radio.
Revolution Radio.
www.revolution.radio.
If you want the truth, go to the sites that will prove the truth.
Is he coming?
He's coming. Clive and Bundy!
No!
Here he comes.
Come on, brother! Come on, brother! Come on now! And he's not going to go through the roundabout either. Excuse me.
I'm Sam Reed. Where have you been all this time?
Yeah, but how did you report over the world?
Here we are. We're fighting for freedom in the United States, and we're going to have freedom in the United States. We have the best constitution. We have the best land.
Everybody stop moving back.
This is something that we deserve, that we have to fight for.
Everybody back, please. Please back up, please.
I've been a political prisoner for 700 days. And today I am a free man. And I had a great battle, and we have won this
Hey,
battle.
where's the media been this whole time?
Justice,
Clive, how's it feel 2 years since you've been out?
I was just saying, I've been in there for 700 days, and it's finally
Media, keep backing, please.
starting to rain. That's what cowboys like, is rain.
What's next for you?
We're going to go to ranching.
My wife has held the ranch together, and we still got a cow, so I guess we'll just be ranchers.
Mr. Bundy, is this the what you hope for?
You know, there's a lot of people that think I'm mad at the federal government. I want to make a statement here. First, I want to make a real clear statement that I only have a 15-second defense. My defense is that I graze my cattle only on Clark County, Nevada land. And my second is I have no contract with the federal government. And I could add another. This court has no jurisdiction and authority over this matter. And I've been a political prisoner for 700 days. And I'm still a little bit mad. I'm not mad at the federal government. I'm mad at my local government. I'm mad at my governor, and I'm mad at my county commissioners, and I'm mad at my county sheriff. Why aren't they protecting my life, liberty, and property? Why aren't they taking care of the people and not allowing the federal government to come with an army against us and stick their guns down our throat? You know, we the people asked the county sheriff to disarm the federal government, take those guns away. He did not do that. He put us people, we the people, in front of those guns with them sticking their guns down our throat, threatening our lives. And we're just lucky we're not a bunch of us dead.
Yes.
That's the county sheriff's fault for let that happen. We petitioned him on April the 12th, 2014, to take those arms away, and he didn't do it. And so we have been political prisoners for 700 days, and whatever suffering, that was just fine. But they haven't been held accountable.
You chose not to come out of the prison, and here you are coming out a free man. How do you respond?
Well, I wouldn't come out until I was free. I came in here as a free man. I didn't even leave as a free man. And I wanted to come out here and watch, let the media watch them take the shackles off me, but they wouldn't allow me to do that. And so, but anyway, I don't have the shackles on today.
It's the last rancher standing. We love you, Clive.
And it's a rain, and you know that's it's always a blessing for ranchers when it rains. Rains means that our Heavenly Father's paying attention. Means that He's going to bless us, and we're going to have feed for our cows. Everything is around feed, and a lot of people don't understand what feed means. Feed means that the cow has something to eat. And what does a cow eat? They eat this old Nevada desert. And ranchers turn that renewable resource, the desert plants, into edible food. That's red meat. That's good. That's steaks. That's what's for dinner. And I'm ready to go get some.
Let's go.
We'll have a press conference at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock tomorrow. 1 o'clock tomorrow in front of the sheriff's office. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock in front of the sheriff's office. Who knows advertise? What's the address? Does anybody know the address?
Google it.
Martin Luther King.
MLK, yeah.
Mrs. Bundy, what's your response? This is a 4-year deal for you. What's your response?
I just want to thank Heavenly Father for listening to all the prayers of we the people of America.
Amen.
Because God blessed America once again today.
Amen. All right, thank you,
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Love you. Love you. Thank you, Carol.
What do you want to do, cowboy?
We want to kiss on camera. Come on, YouTube.
Yeah. Let's get him home, Mom.
Yep, let's get him home. Excuse us, media. Hey, back up. We're going to head home.
We're going home.
Woohoo!
Home again.
Home again.
Home again on the range. Home again on the range.
Thanks, Brett.
Where are we going?
This way, that way.
Go rest up.
He doesn't know where to go.
I've seen me in there a few times. I'm Wendy, and my friend is Shauna.
And I keep
She's
seeing
been here
how
every
wonderful
day.
you are, you know.
I know.
He listens to me all the time, and I know he's wondering who I
He's wondering who you
am.
are.
I appreciate her being there. She's always back in that corner, and I always look for her.
Yep, she's Shauna's worker.
Oh, thank you so much.
Sorry, you got to share him.
I've been doing that most of my life.
Absolutely.
I'm all right. I can't wait. I told you too, didn't I?
Thank you.
Okay.
I want to hug the two of you together.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Yes, God is great. That is
Thank you.
You're a true leader. You didn't give up the ship until everybody's on it. I wanted to get the crowd. You're just a little taller than me.
He's a great man, I'll tell you that.
Trooper and a leader and a true warrior. I admire you.
Behind every great man's a great woman. Thank you. You come bring him out there with I appreciate all your
Carol, I was with you guys ever since they body
what
slammed
Ammon
your
has to
sister.
say.
God, he's a great guy. I'm the one that stands out front with all the flags and everything. You betcha. And thank you for standing strong.
Yeah,
I am too.
I was worried about it.
You can never fix a year-old land. It can never be fixed because these issues that are being debated, if you will, even in the courtroom here, they are issues that should be handled on a local level within the county, within the municipalities. and within the state should never go to the federal government.
If the BLM were to try and empower it again with the court order, with the further cooperation of the local authorities and the governor and the sheriff, how do you think you'd respond to that?
Well, I want to say this. We have rights. They are our rights. They're our family rights. They've been in our family for 141 years yesterday. And we have those rights. And so we're not going to walk away from them and just let them be taken.
What message do you hope gets sent to your supporters and followers from this case?
Well, I hope that the message of that standing is the right thing and not being afraid, but also doing it peacefully and doing it in a way that people can support you and that people can see what's happening. And so, I mean, I guess people need to recognize their rights and stand on them. They need to use them. And then when it comes time to them defending them, they need to defend them.
Merry Christmas. My Christmas card.
Thank you.
Late.
Thank you.
So what would happen if the BLM tried to bring a new court order?
Goodness.
What would happen? I don't know. You'd have to ask my dad.
Good answer.
But I'm sure he's going to do whatever it takes.
There you heard it. What's
Thank
he going to do?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it
Thank you.
takes. Says an American.
I'll stay away. What the state and we the people are responsible for. That would be nice. That's what I want the people to do, is to continue to educate themselves and hold their elected officials accountable.
And stop living in fear. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, I wouldn't go back and undo one single thing that my family has done in the last 2 years. We stood because we were forced to stand. And if more families would stand and they would teach their children to stand, and we would continue to pressure our representatives into doing what was right and recognizing the fact that we, the people, are the power. They work for us. Then we wouldn't be in this situation time and time again. But I will tell you this, that the sacrifice has been worth it.
So this is for you as a mom with, I don't know how many kids.
5 daughters.
5 daughters. You've really had to endure something too while your husband was in prison. Can you talk about that for a second? As you were there, I saw you. You were on a horse.
Absolutely.
I don't know about these people. What I want to know is, how come you weren't arrested?
Because what would it look like if the government arrested not only the husband but the wife? And I'm a little bit vocal, so I'm pretty sure someone would know know what I thought about it. But my husband says it best. He told me he'd been in jail for quite some time, and he says, I didn't stand so my children wouldn't have to. I stood so my children will know how to. And I will tell you, in April 2014, when I made the conscious decision that I was going to get on a horse that day and I was going to ride into gunfire, I sat and I said, my children will see me as their example. How can I expect my children to stand and be brave under difficult circumstances if I'm not willing to do the same? So come what may.
Just to finish up, what we saw happen today, play out today here, has been a long time coming. The government has deceived people, tried to, they lied, they painted themselves in a corner. And it was refreshing to see this court recognize that all of our hard work and effort in just exposing the truth is paying off. My dad's a free man. I was in prison with him for almost 2 years. I saw the suffering that he went through, my mother, my children, my brothers, their children. You can't really get that back. You know, how much is that worth? How much is the suffering of a little child and the sacrifices that our wives had to make to take care and rear those children? When I was arrested, my youngest was 3 months old, and I had to spend 2 birthdays in jail. She's a different little girl than when I went in, and all my little girls are a little bit different. It's refreshing to be home, but how much is that worth? Was this worth it for the government to put us through the suffering? They knew all along that they didn't have anything on us. They knew that they were wrong, but they had to win. It's about a win for them. And if cheating to win works for them, it's still a win. That's not right. Let's not do this anymore.
Some estimates are they spent $100 million over these last few years. And of course, the mainstream media may paint this as, you know, I can't believe you didn't get a conviction out of this. What do you think about the government going to those extremes or spending that amount of money to take it this far?
Like I say, it seems like they just have to win no matter what the cost. And to them, you know, it's not their children or grandchildren suffering. It seems that they don't have any emotion, and it's their job. They get paid to do this. We are Americans. We go out and work. We provide livings for our families. We care for one another. But to them, it's just a job. And so they'll say, well, they're doing their job. It's not about justice, I don't believe. It's about a win. I think that the American taxpayer, which is pretty much all of us, should be upset with the amount of funds that they've put forward. It's disingenuous to Americans to have to fork out so much of their earnings. They need to understand that when they go to work, they trade labor and talent for a paycheck. That's your money. They are taking that and frivolously throwing it at situations such as this, being vindictive. And what we saw today in the court agreed that this was vindictive, and this was uncalled for. Flagrant disregard, absolutely.
Were you shocked by the change of either demeanor or attitude or behavior of Judge Navarro in this case?
Absolutely. He has never seen Gloria Navarro. Yeah. He has been in prison for 2 years under her ruling, yet he's never been in her presence. I, on the other hand, have sat in that courtroom many, many days, and I have listened to her rulings. And I'm grateful, because obviously she had a very big change of heart today, and I don't know what got her to that decision, but I am grateful because we have our grandfather and our uncles home. We still have a long road ahead of us for Mel and Davey and Jason and Joe, but we intend to fight this as long as it takes, and if that means going to round 4 and uncovering more of their lies and deceit and evil, atrocious actions, then so be it. We started this fight, we're going to finish it.
So that's right, you're in the Tier 3 group.
Tier 2.
Sorry, Tier 2 group. So for you, you've had to wait for this to end in order for your trial to begin.
Well, we tried to join these motions that were presented today and argued today. She denied that. So what we're going to have to do is file motions, basically reopening these arguments. And she denied our joiner, and so we'll have to file motions to reopen these same arguments because the egregious actions, the misconduct on the part of the government has everything to do with my case. My case is Clive's case. It is Ammon Bundy's case. We're all in this together. The government's the ones that split us up into different tiers.
I also want to add that Todd Engel and Greg Burleson from Tier 3 that were convicted in the first trial still sit locked behind bars with 37 to 68-year prison sentences based off of all of the discovery that this judge ruled today was relevant to their case and was kept from them in 2 trials. And that is an injustice and needs to be, that judge, if she does the right thing, she will overturn the convictions of Greg and Todd.
I want to say one more thing as well. Speaking of holding elected officials accountable, the now Sheriff Lombardo, he testified in several trials, and he lied. He lied on the stand. And we have.
Can you be specific?
Well, yes. He first said that all the cowboys on horses had guns, and that we were a dangerous, group.
That the crowd pointed guns at him and called him obscenities and put him in fear for his life up on top of the bridge.
He said other things that were not true, and he purged himself. And I don't want to get too specific at this time. But what my point is that we want them to do the right thing. Tell the truth. Be truthful. It's your job to protect us. And he is right at the forefront of this. He's our sheriff. We look to our sheriff to protect our constitutional rights. We have rights in this country. And when an enemy, foreign or domestic, comes into our lands and threatens those rights, we intend on him to come and help us. And in 2014, that's all I wanted. I wanted Doug Gillespie, the sheriff at the time, to come and do his duty. And had he, you know, yeah, we probably wouldn't be here today. Exactly. We would have protection. Our constitutional rights are worth protecting, and I just want people to understand that they do have rights and they're worth fighting for, despite the sacrifice. We're proof. I mean, stick to it, hold to it. The truth is light, and it's a beautiful thing. And we saw truth come forward today. And I want to thank the judge for her decisions today. Absolutely.
Your wife also mentioned something about Greg Burleson. He had diabetes when he went in, and they refused to give him medical treatment. They refused to let his own doctor come in. They also wouldn't give him proper medical treatment, and he went blind, totally blind, while he was in jail. And he's sitting there today with 68 years that he has to do, and he's totally blind and has to be led everywhere.
Yeah, he should be home. He should definitely be home. But like my wife said,
Greg and Todd broke no laws. Greg used some poor language on Facebook. And the last time I read the Constitution, we had a right to freedom of speech. And that's all Todd or Greg did. However, they were severely reprimanded by this very judge for bringing up the point that there were snipers pointed at them. Their legal representation was restricted from them, and ultimately they were convicted. And they have sat as innocent men in prisons being abused, denied medical treatment, denied their loved ones phone calls. They've been refused proper diet and everything else. These men have been tortured for 2 years, and it's absolutely atrocious. And we, the people, need to start bringing some awareness to that and hold these people in these big and spacious buildings accountable for their actions.
Alan Bundy was tortured, stripped down naked into a shower, and was tortured for how many hours?
Let's go. Dad's leaving.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
And Mel,
Did they take you off the no-fly list?
I don't know. But I'm probably going to fly and see if they don't. I'll probably get arrested again. Seriously.
Where are you going to fly to, Ammon? You're going to take a vacation?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I actually love to work. And I feel like I really do like to work. And I like to work with my kids.
Yeah.
And so I look forward to going home, being able to work and work with my boys.
You got an orchard there, too?
I got a little orchard, and I got a shop.
So you don't have ankle monitor anymore, then
Nope.
either? None of you?
Nope, we're free.
Just the ones that weren't in this tier are still under the punishment.
Yeah,
under the
we've got to
restrictions.
still fight for them to get free.
Absolutely.
And this isn't over for them.
No. It's
And
not
then
over
those
for any
that
of
were
us.
then those that were convicted too.
Right.
You know, obviously they withheld information.
Yeah.
And in the first trials, and Navarro was upset about that. You could tell she was upset about them withholding that information, and that these men were convicted. She said it several times in different hearings, and she said it again today. Or she, you know, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not quoting her.
Right.
But and it's serious that men would be convicted of crimes that they did not do because the government withheld information and willfully, you know,
and
falsified, you know. Basically,
if it was
Judge
any of us,
Navarro,
we'd be sitting behind bars.
yeah, and Judge Navarro was as kind as she could about saying they're a pack of liars.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agree with her.
Flagrant disregard
Yep.
for the citizens, American people.
Anyway, thank you.
Do you think you'll be involved in more political work, or you
I
want to
don't
just get
know.
back to your family?
Well, I got to get, you know, my family back on our feet and spend time with them, and get. I mean, my business is down to nothing. You know, I had a really nice business before all this started. So anyway, I got to take care of those things, and we'll see what happens.
Do you think you'd be interested in getting involved in kind of some of the prison kind of related activism that you were talking about?
Absolutely.
earlier this year?
The very first thing that I thought about is getting CCA, where we spent, you know, me a little over a year, and the others have spent most of their time, you know, to stop strip searching every time you turn around, and to stop using the black boxes, and to stop, you know, just you know, the many things that they do in there to stop them from doing that, and those things are important to me.
Do they do strip searches before every visit?
When we come to court, and of course I never allowed it that's part of the reason why I spent so much time in the hole in solitary confinement. But when we come to court, they want to strip us before we get in the transportation, after we've had court here at the court building, and then they want to strip us again when we got back to the jail. And these are full strip searches, you know, all the way down the whole. I'm embarrassed to even tell you what they do to us. And then they want to make you wear what's called a black box, and that makes it so that it goes between your handcuffs and your belly chained as well with leg irons on, and it makes it so you can't move your wrists. And it's just completely inhumane. It's inhumane, and there's no need for it. And those things are just need to be done with.
Did they do that kind of searching too before they brought people into like the video visit rooms up there?
I don't know, because I never did do a video visit. Never did a video visit.
Let's go enjoy jurisdictional questions that are clearly outstanding. Do you believe that the County Commission of Clark County and the Governor of Nevada have a role to play, an active role to play, or they should play a role in the next go-around or the next issue that arises regarding the ranch and things?
Absolutely, and that's an excellent question. They should have had a role to play before. This never should have happened the way it happened. The governor and the county commissioners, the county sheriff should have stepped in and say, no, you cannot do this. These people have rights. That's what we hire them for. And you know, we many times went to the governor and to the county and said, look, we have rights. They're even deeded with the state of Nevada. And it's your duty to defend us. And they wouldn't, because of whatever reason, federal funding, you know, politics, memorandums of understanding, whatever reason. And so what they did is they left a family exposed to defend their own rights. And so, yeah, they have a role to play. And they need to defend the people of Nevada, and the Clark County commissioners and the county sheriff needs to defend the people of Clark County. That's their duty. Thank you.
So, Ammon, as you were walking up here, coming into the courthouse,
press conference tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, did you hear that? 1 o'clock tomorrow there'll be a press conference with my father.
And then the sheriff's office, in front of the sheriff's department, on MLK. In
front of the sheriff's department.
So when you were walking into the courthouse, I asked you what's your expectation, and you said we weren't really sure. You were hopeful. Here we are, a couple hours later. What's your response?
Well, all I can say is that the Lord has given us the advantage, and it's hard to deny that. And I was at peace coming in, and I'm at peace coming out. And just thank everybody for their support, for the love that they shared towards us.
What would you say about the change in the demeanor of Judge Navarro from when this trial first began, after you guys were brought up here from Oregon, and the change in demeanor in these last few weeks?
The only way I can explain it, remember, I was not there in the first trials, obviously. I wasn't allowed to be there. I was in Crump in the Federal Detention Center. But it appears to me that Judge Navarro was able to see enough of the truth and either decided to morally and ethically do the right thing, or felt that it was too risky for her not to. And I don't know what that is. I mean, but we've prayed for her. We've pleaded with the Lord to soften her heart. We've believed for many months, almost 2 years now, that this would happen. And so, Judge Navarro, we can't take away that she did the right thing today. And I'm grateful for her. And I'm grateful for her seeing it and doing what she did. She didn't just rule a dismissal and kind of, she really exposed in her rulings today about as strongly as a federal judge can, or a judge can. She literally exposed what the prosecution, what the government was doing.
How do you respond to her quote from the courtroom saying that your constitutional rights were violated under this process, coming from this judge?
Again, she was She was dead right, and they have been, and we have been violated, and we've known this. We've been screaming it, and anyway, we knew this day was going to come sooner or later, and I'm grateful that Judge Navarro did the right thing.
Do you see the movement that you've been part of and that has gathered around you over the last few years? Do you understand it as a political or a spiritual movement?
Absolutely.
As both? How would you like use those two words?
Well, I mean, I go back to our what happened, that is what establishes the country, and what our founding fathers believed and understood. And I think it was 68 times George Washington reported back that during the Revolutionary War there was divine intervention, and that they would not be free if it was not for the Lord's hand in giving them the advantage. And I'm not trying to compare that to this in any way as far as the magnitude. So don't get me wrong. But the Lord has given us the advantage here, and I believe it's for the same purposes that He gave the advantage to those that laid the foundation of this country, and it's so that we can be free, so that our families can be free, so that we can enjoy the blessings of this land, to move about, to be free, and to own and to live and to prosper. And there's plenty for all of us. There's no reason why we should be fighting over these things. But when you have one entity that wants to suck up over 600 million acres in the western United States, the people have to stand up. Yeah, they have to,
So Lavoy Finicum would have been part of this trial because he was at the Bunkerville event. So he was shot in Oregon, wasn't part of your trials in Oregon. Was he vindicated today?
Lavoy, in my opinion, was vindicated a long time ago, but this certainly helps him. But Lavoy doesn't need to be vindicated. He made that sacrifice, and he has benefited us by that. And one thing that I'll point out is there was only 2 men in this nation, in this land, in this country, that decided to ranch on their original rights and stand on those rights, those vested property rights that were theirs and have been theirs. And one of those men was Clive Bundy, and the other man was Lavoy Finicum. And I don't think that is a coincidence that Clive Bundy, because of that stand, spent the last 2 years in prison, and Lavoy's life was taken. And we need to consider that and understand the impact of what they're willing to do in the effort to take away the rights of the individuals of this great land. It is a serious matter, and that is why we had to stand and not yield to them. Thank you.
And a quick question for you, and this may be too in the cabbage spice, but Judge Navarro came full circle on this thing. Does this restore your faith in the process on any level?
Well, I want to make it very clear that we never should have been in the federal system to begin with. They forced their way into our lands in the West, and then so that they can become party. And then the Constitution says that when the federal government is party, then they have jurisdiction. But what I want to make very clear is the federal government should have never had party in this, and we should have never been in this federal court to begin with. But with that being said, I also want to, be grateful for Judge Navarro seeing the truth and ruling the way she did.
How do you understand the role of in the establishment of Bunkerville, the community where you're from, obviously, and your family, the role of the United Order, right? That was established as a United Order community in 1877 or 1878. How do you understand that community and the founding of that community in relation to the rights of use that your family claims on that land that obviously many people used for a long time, right?
Yeah, it's a good question. Let me just answer it this way. Mm-hmm. If you go back to the records, I think in 1890, you can go get news articles where the state of Nevada was selling the land to the people.
Of that land,
of all of that area, including all over Nevada. Mm-hmm. And other states were doing similar things. If the state of Nevada did not own the land, then how could they be selling it? Mm-hmm. And these issues have been flipped upside down, starting in the turn of the century. It got worse in the 30s and the 40s, And literally through the federal courts and these federal attorneys, they have literally deceptively stole this land from the states and their people.
And those records would be in the county, at the county level and the state level, like those archives would be where I would find them?
Yeah, you probably go to the recorders. I know like the water rights were recorded in 1890, and they're in the state water registry, and you could go in there and see the deeds and all of that. And they even have
in
cattle
the state
count.
or here?
No, at the state of Nevada for the state. They even have cattle counts on them that say how many cattle you can run on those waters. And so clearly they're a right deeded with the state of Nevada, and they're called livestock watering rights. Well, you can't.
And those were being sold by the state as of 1890.
No, those were preemptive rights that my family established, and then just filed them with the state as rights. And then the state kept record of it. Yeah, and many people did. That's how all the rights were established. So.
Where do you go from here?
Anyway, I'm going to go home and have a birthday with my 3-year-old. Today's his birthday. So,
have a good drive.
Take care, Guy. God bless you.
Thank you, Hammond.
Hit you with this. I've been carrying this all day long.
That shot is not mine. There's the Lamb family. John Moore with his wife and children are all here today. Mason, Jan Hill, Brent Whipple, 3 of the attorneys. Who else do we have here? We have Lance.
No.
Okay. Some people are camera shy, like me. On the left there is Neil Wampler, and on the far left, back there, is Ryan Hyde. He's now the official spokesman for the Bundy family, or was through this trial. And his cohort sitting there, and there's Jeanette Finnegan who's here today. And then next to her is, now I'm going to forget her first name. She's a part of the Hague family that's been fighting the same type of battle all this time. Oh, we're going to get an interview with Jeanette.
Do I have words?
Yes.
I've cried. Got it out.
It's all out.
It's out. So the next time.
This is pretty neat.
Good day.
That's all right. So Jeanette, you were up in the courtroom?
Yes. The boy's with me.
So you were there. I've got a million questions, but Lavoie looking down. What was his take on this today?
Absolutely, I believe the boy was there in the courtroom. He was looking down at the doing that famous Yahoo! I didn't want to shout too loud, but he would be screaming in joy. I know that God had a hand in this in so many different ways, with the evidence coming out, with softening the judge's heart for her to look at this evidence that was coming out and to take it seriously. I am so grateful that these men are released, and they've dismissed all the charges. They get to go home with their families and resume normal life, if it will ever be normal again. I doubt it. I know these men. I know that they're going to continue this fight for liberty and for freedom.
So the judge, her quote was, literally, it's as harsh as a federal judge could be.
You're welcome, Nancy. This is amazing.
Your constitutional rights have been violated. That's a complete change of demeanor from when this began to today. What's your take on that?
Well, that never happens, does it? That never happens to the average American citizen that is faced in a federal court, in that system. This is, I'm going to steal a word, an epic moment. Totally epic moment. I don't know of another time that something like this has happened. And justice has prevailed. Their liberty is still intact. They are able to resume normal life and go home with their families. And I think that they're going to continue to work towards getting the rest of the people out of jail now too, to make sure all of those charges are dropped. We need to, I know I'm going to be filing my complaint in the next couple of weeks, and we will pursue our wrongful death, the murder of my husband, McCoy Finicum. But we also need to remember the Hammonds. They are still imprisoned. We need to focus on getting these innocent people out of jail. They should not have to be spending the last few years of their life, in particular
Mr. Hammond, the senior. They should not have to be in jail for a backburn when they were just trying to preserve their own personal property. Our government and all of the different layers and all of the different, the judicial, all of the rules of law, we really need to start looking at some of this. Why are we being labeled terrorists? Why were they labeled terrorists for just protecting their property? We need to kind of do an overhaul.
So, was Lavoie vindicated today with this? I mean, in a sense, has this put another notch in the vindication of your husband? His actions is going to Oregon in 2016.
Yes, I believe so. When they were set free in Oregon and the jury found those men innocent and they went home from Oregon, absolutely, my husband would have been sitting right there with Hammond, with Brian, with all of the first 7, and he would have been home. I don't know that he would have been in this particular trial here. He was one of the horsemen the day 2014 in April, but I don't know that he would have been arrested for Bundy, the Bundy incident. But he would be at home. He has been vindicated in a sense, both trials. And I would urge people to look into this, ask questions, do some research, find out what has been going on. Do not take the mainstream media's word for anything anymore, because they're just in cahoots with the narrative that is pushed out to them. They have for lack of a better word, they have a plan to misinform the public.
So if there's one lesson that the average American who doesn't own a cow or land can take away from this epic conclusion, or maybe the beginning of a new saga, what takeaway should they take, the average American? What should they get from this event today and this last 4 years?
This is not about cows. It's not about cows. That is our way of life that we chose for ourselves. But it's about liberty, it's about freedom, it's about the rule of law, which is the Constitution. It's not about cows. So do some homework. Get educated. Educate your children.
So I think that's good for this. Unless you have something.
Good. I'm glad it's over.
Well, can I do a Facebook Live with you?
Oh, okay.
Are you okay with that?
I just run out of things to say.
You were such a good interview, Jeanette.
You are, Jeanette.
You do a great job. Yep. Very natural. Authentic is the word I would use.
We need more rain.
Yeah.
Not yet. Wait till we get in our cars.
Wait till we go to the party house. Yeah. Where's the party house?
Where is the party house? We got left behind.
It's rechargeable.
So here we are with Jeanette Finicum at the federal building here in Las Vegas, and epic.
Epic. Totally epic.
Right? Is that the new word of 2018?
That is the new word.
Epic is the new word. So I'm kind of at a loss for words, because it was a bit emotional for me, because I was there in 2014 to see these guys, what they went through, and now what they've gone through in the court system, and then to come to today, to have our federal court system, the judge, say, quote, your constitutional rights were violated. What do you think?
We're amazed, and we're grateful, and our prayers have been answered in reference to having all these men set free. It's just sitting there in the courtroom, as you heard her going through all of the rule of law and all of the points that we had to meet to make it a dismissal, a complete dismissal. And as you heard her words that she chose very carefully, you knew almost immediately that it was going to be dismissed. And there was just this sense of joy and gratitude that finally somebody, the people who stood up and brought forth the evidence in order for all of this to be looked at, it's just been an amazing event to sit and witness for ourselves there in the courtroom.
What I want to know from you is, if you could speculate, what would your husband say right now if he was here? There's Ammon over there getting interviewed, Ryan, and then Clive came out. You know what I mean? It was an epic moment.
Yeah.
What would Lavoie say?
First, I think he's probably got permission from God to peer down on this courtroom today, take a break from his work that he's doing on high there. I think that he would have probably shouted, "Woohoo!"
That would have been his only statement.
He would have been shouting from the clouds.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she says she heard him.
Somebody heard him. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we interviewed Ryan Bundy and his wife Angie last night for documentary 2.
Oh, great.
And today we're going to be interviewing Shauna Cox, and we're really coming to a conclusion. And I feel like this is like that epic conclusion. And I also wanted to let you know that Charity got her Amazing Grace.
Oh.
She got it recorded.
Oh, I bet it's beautiful.
Yeah, and so I'm just excited. We're hoping to have that done soon, and all of the interviews will be done after today for part 2 of the documentary.
It's great. I'm excited for everybody to see this documentary and to know more about my husband and to get to know who he really was. I'm really excited for that because, again, do not rely on the media. We have to search for the truth in other forms.
Well, it was. I thought it was pretty epic out here because the mainstream media was all on this side, and then you had John Lamb and Kelly Ward, and everybody was over there, and they're like, and then. So this has been an epic journey, epic experience, and I think it all starts. I mean, something fresh and new starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
What you think?
Absolutely, and stay tuned because there's more to come. We have a lot of work to do.
My viewers are all saying they love you, Jeanette.
Love you guys
and
too.
they're sorry for your loss.
Well, you know, guys, so we're going to sign off here. This has been an epic moment in U.S. history.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to change the country. That's a question I want to ask you before we get off. How do you think this is going to change the United States?
Well, I hope that, those who have been put in the position of prosecutor, district attorney, a judge, that they will think twice about trying to hide evidence, withhold evidence, tamper with evidence. I hope that we have a new era of honesty, some integrity within these individuals when they are dealing with someone else's life. They're dealing with another American citizen and their life.
And
they have control.
Yeah, they have complete control. But this is from Oregon acquittals to this dismissal with prejudice.
The jury, I have to. Thank you.
Tell me about the jury.
To all the jurors in Oregon who found all of these men not guilty, to the jurors here in Nevada, 2 different times, and we interviewed on the 3rd trial, they interviewed the jurors again, and they were all going to vote not guilty. 7 of those jurors were here today. 8. Excuse me, I've just
to see?
8 jurors were in that courtroom to see what the
would
judge's
happen?
ruling was going to be because they were so dead set against what was happening to these men.
And they came early enough to get seats, which was a real trial. We got here early.
So the 8 of the former jurors
that were just dismissed
were
here today.
We're here today to find out what her
ruling would be.
Wow, that's epic.
Another epic.
Epic.
But the jurors need to be commended for seeing through to the truth and voting not guilty in so many different instances. And they would have done so again had they actually finished this trial.
Wow. Well, guys, stay tuned. There's more to come. We'll be sending out more updates on the documentary as they come out. So, thanks, Jeanette.
Thanks.
Awesome,
thanks,
guys. Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye, Jeanette. It's epic. It's epic.
The word of 2018.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. I've been living and breathing, that I'm here all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Attorney that really helped in this case. There's Dee. There's Roger Roots. There's Andrea Parker. Lots of celebrities today. There's Ryan and Angie Bundy.
I met you outside.
Jeff Banta, who's at the
You live from there? Yeah. How's the
I know. I can't like that, and I can jump right in.
Some things are easier to avoid.
prejudice.